Irvine, California, a well-planned community that's safe, predictable, and maybe a little boring. The Salton Sea, a stinky stew of desert folk, agricultural runoff, and dead fish that's inhospitable but strangely intriguing. Bridging the gap between them is the border port city of San Diego.
It's more city talk than I'd usually include in a car video, but trust me, by the end, it'll all make sense.
For now, let's talk about the Toyota Corolla. I don't think I'm going out on a limb in saying it exists on the conservative end of the automotive spectrum, but that may be about to change.
This is the 2014 Toyota Corolla, right next to that pigeon over there. It's actually a pre-production prototype, the car, not the pigeon. How can you tell it's a pre-production prototype? You could believe me, or you could look at some of the details.
There's the perpetually false tire pressure warning light, the delay-prone early build infotainment system, glossy interior panels that are definitely not ready for prime time, and check it out, a cool blue paint job that is not original. No problem, we prefer the blue to the previous silver hue anyway.
I mention all that to establish that we can't really review the 2014 Corolla based on the car we're driving, but we can get a sense of whether or not the Corolla's seen a major change in personality.
It might not be obvious since they tend to blend into the background, but Corollas are everywhere, with roughly 40 million sold globally over the car's nearly 50-year history. In the future, games of Spot the Corolla will be infinitely easier. The new Corolla is shorter, wider, and longer, with a longer wheelbase, a shorter rear overhang, and a longer front overhang, all helpful dimensional changes that enhance the more expressive design. This new look might not inspire desire, but a little pride wouldn't be out of place. Same deal with the interior.
Ignoring all the early build plastics, there's a lot to like in here. The seats, really comfortable, surprisingly supportive, and they give me the lumbar support I so desperately need. Also, I really like the dash design, looks modern, and there's a lot more space available. For example, look at how much legroom I have in the back seat. I can do this forever. Don't tempt me, I'll just be here forever. I think we can all agree that the new Corolla looks better than the old Corolla, but is it more fun to drive? Yeah, it's more fun to drive, but it's not like they took a carnival in the springtime and crammed it into automotive form and bliss is flying out all over the road behind it because it's just too fun to contain. It's not that kind of fun. Think of driving the 11th Gen Corolla as a responsible kind of fun, like Django on family night. Among the more interesting changes is the addition of a CVT, or continuously variable transmission, to the mix. It's available on most of the trims, and it does something really weird. CVTs are supposed to go to the power peak and stay there as you accelerate, and then the car gets faster, but the engine revs stay the same. They've tuned this one to operate a little bit differently, so it has these pre-selected gear ratios. Not even gear ratios, just ratios. So it goes... It almost sounds like a regular automatic transmission, thus begging the question, why go with the CVT? Apparently the engineers think they can get the fuel economy they need, while simultaneously not annoying people with that Frankenstein-like treatment. If they think it works, fantastic. Keeping in mind that things could change by the time cars reach dealerships, the Corolla I'm driving wants to move around a little bit on the freeway, even though I'm not moving the steering wheel. When I do move the steering wheel, it feels like the steering wheel's moving through delicious maple syrup. If you push the sport button down here, that maple syrup magically becomes molasses. Tasty? But like most of the 40 million people who have bought Corollas before you, if you're interested in a Corolla, odds are blissful steering feel isn't a top priority. It probably is a priority, would be things like ride quality, interior noise, and fuel economy. In terms of interior noise, this pre-production Corolla isn't terribly loud, but I'm guessing that the production car might actually be a little bit quieter since it'll be a little bit more buttoned up. As far as ride comfort, it rides nice, thanks in large part to an extended wheelbase. That'll definitely be on the production car. If it's not, something's gone terribly wrong. Either way, I can definitely see commuting in the 2014 Corolla without complaint. As for fuel economy, they haven't really nailed down the EPA numbers just yet, but there's talk of 40 plus mpg in the LE Eco trim, or Eco trim, depending on what part of the country you live in.
Fun fact, while the standard engine is a 132 horsepower 1.8-liter four-cylinder, the 1.8-liter in the LE Eco trim whips up 140 horsepower. That's right, the most efficient Corolla is also the most powerful. Direct your praise to the Eco's continuously variable intake valve timing technology, cleverly dubbed Valvematic. Valvematic, everybody! There's plenty we still don't know about the 2014 Corolla, like price, feature availability, and exactly what the final production car will drive and feel like, but some details we know for sure. The CVT will get lots of attention, but a 6-speed manual transmission will be available on the sportiest S trim and the lowest L trim. Sadly, that base L trim is going to miss the CVT revolution, instead trudging along with a quaint, optional 4-speed automatic. Along with a more aggressive exterior treatment, the Corolla S trim will come with rear disc brakes, while all other versions will have to make do with rear drum brakes, like that old Volkswagen you used to drive in high school. Happily, those drum brakes will have less than 2,900 pounds of Corolla to deal with due to the liberal use of high-strength steel in the car's new, more rigid chassis. In more good news, the standard equipment list includes power locks, windows and mirrors, 8 airbags, Bluetooth audio streaming / phone connectivity, and LED low beams, a weirdly high-end touch for a car forged in practicality. And if you're feeling decadent, heated front seats, push-button engine start, automatic climate control, and a touchscreen infotainment system with smartphone app integration will all be represented on the option sheet. Having completed an extended jaunt in a prototype 2014 Corolla, where do we think it fits best? Button-down Irvine, the lawless Salton Sea, or in San Diego, the perfect metaphorical midway point between repression and wild liberation? Actually, none of the above. The essence of the 11th generation Corolla seems more akin to somewhere between Irvine and San Diego. Let's say the vibe of San Clemente. Warm, inviting, not wildly edgy, but interesting enough for most tastes, and just a quick train ride from the sweet predictability of Irvine. Yeah, this isn't so bad. You see, there's a town and a car for nearly everyone. The wild ones among us still won't find a kindred spirit in the Corolla, but that's fine. The wild ones don't buy 40 million of anything. You know who buys 40 million cars? The masses. And I'm guessing the masses are going to feel right at home in the 2014 Toyota Corolla.
I wasn't joking. I can do this forever. Look how much legroom I have.